New York went within a breath of destroying one of the greatest acoustic achievements in human history. At the corner of 57th Street and 7th Avenue stands Carnegie Hall, not a skyscraper, not a symbol of corporate power, but a rare Gilded Age experiment built around a single, almost obsessive idea: perfect sound. When the hall opened in May 1891, it announced its ambition in unforgettable fashion. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky himself conducted on opening night, signaling to the world that this was not just another performance space. From its first note, Carnegie Hall was designed to function like a musical instrument, its dimensions, materials, and proportions tuned so precisely that sound would travel naturally, evenly, and without amplification. More than a century later, acousticians armed with computers and modern physics still struggle to fully explain why the hall sounds as flawless as it does. Yet the most dramatic chapter in Carnegie Hall's story did not unfold during its birth, but during the moment it was nearly erased. By the mid-20th century, New York had transformed into a city obsessed with speed, efficiency, and redevelopment. Concert culture was changing, maintenance costs were soaring, and the economics of running an old hall no longer made sense. In 1955, Carnegie Hall's owners admitted defeat. The building was quietly placed on the market for $5 million, a modest sum for one of the most valuable corners of Manhattan. To developers, the equation was simple: the land was worth more than the hall standing on it. And legally, nothing stood in the way. This was the era of urban renewal, when New York treated its past as expendable. Penn Station would soon be demolished. Entire neighborhoods vanished under concrete and glass. Robert Moses, the city's most powerful planner, believed progress required sacrifice, and cultural landmarks were often the first to go. Carnegie Hall had no landmark protection, no preservation status, and no political shield. To the city, it was just another aging structure in the path of modernity. By early 1956, the threat became concrete. A developer was ready. Plans were drawn to demolish Carnegie Hall and replace it with a modern office tower, taller, cleaner, more profitable, and entirely forgettable. The paperwork was legal. The economics were sound. The wrecking crews were being scheduled. Quietly, methodically, one of the world's most extraordinary performance spaces was counting down its final days. What made the moment chilling was not outrage, but silence. There was no immediate public uprising, no emergency laws, no automatic reverence for history. Carnegie Hall was on the verge of disappearing simply because no system existed to stop it. Then, in 1960, a single voice changed the narrative. Isaac Stern, one of the world's greatest violinists, refused to see Carnegie Hall reduced to square footage. Stern understood something few policymakers did: acoustics are not transferable. You cannot demolish a hall like Carnegie Hall and rebuild it elsewhere. He called it an instrument, no less unique than a Stradivarius violin, shaped by chance, craftsmanship, and history. Destroy it, and the sound would be gone forever. Stern didn't fight alone. He organized musicians, cultural leaders, donors, and everyday New Yorkers. He leveraged newspapers, public meetings, and political pressure. What began as an artist's protest grew into a civic reckoning. For the first time in decades, New York was forced to confront a dangerous question: was the city still capable of valuing something that couldn't be monetized? The decision reached the highest levels of power. In a rare move, New York State stepped in. Lawmakers authorized the city of New York to purchase Carnegie Hall outright. $5 million, the same price offered by the developer, was appropriated for preservation rather than destruction. On May 20, 1960, Governor Nelson Rockefeller signed the law that saved the building. The developer's deal collapsed overnight. The wrecking crews never arrived. Carnegie Hall survived by a margin measured in weeks, not years. Today, the hall remains almost unchanged. Its cream and gold auditorium still seats 2,804 people. More than 250 performances resonate through its space every year, from classical symphonies to jazz legends and modern icons. Musicians still describe the same phenomenon: sound that blooms, carries and wraps the audience without effort. What science struggles to replicate, history accidentally perfected. Carnegie Hall stands today not as a relic but as a warning. It reminds us that some achievements cannot be rebuilt once they are lost, that progress without memory leaves a city hollow, and that New York's greatest cultural victory wasn't constructing Carnegie Hall in 1891, but choosing at the last possible moment not to destroy it.